Okay, so thanks for everybody for joining. And I'm sure more people might join as we go on, but I'll go ahead and let you get started, Josh, and I'll post this to the OCI YouTube afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, the main reason I wanted to meet was because, especially with the folks from ZOT project, they are working on ZOT, which is a registry that adheres strictly to the specification, and they have that compliance suite within. And I've basically taken the responsibility through OCI to work on compliance in general. And so that's what, was on the email list and what was on the call last week. And so I want to just find a way for us to come to some common ground and work together on this and make something that's general purpose for all registry providers to use. And I really wanted Vince to be here as kind of a sort of moderator between the two of us and get a higher level opinion on the best direction to take things. So yeah, I talked with Ram over Slack a little bit about some of the issues in the test. We made some updates today. We may be removing the dependency on reg due to it not playing well with the REST library. And yeah, I just want honest opinions on the way that we're going about it and how we should move forward.
Yeah, so, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead, I can continue later. Go ahead first.
No, I was just, is there a, I was just trying to see if Serge is from the ZOT team or.
Yeah, Ron is the one who's basically working on it now. I'm mostly moral support these days.
Okay, I guess I was just trying to understand, is there, it sounds like there's a concern or, for lack of a delicate word, conflict or something? I mean, what's the concern?
I don't actually think there is.
No, there isn't.
If there is, I'm not aware of it. Ram, you were going to say something?
No. So I just some feedback on the compliance test itself, but I can continue later.
Can you say that again, Ram?
Yeah. So let me. So I was making some notes on what needs to happen, I guess. So the first thing is the compliance test should the right home for compliance test is with the distribution spec itself. I think that's perfectly fine. The second point I want to make was so we have this compliance test and we run them against registries, and should there be any non-compliance from various registries, then we should make it easier for the folks to understand what the test is doing and how to fix them. So the way that works is basically we want to be very verbose about what kind of requests are being sent, what kind of headers are being set, what kind of responses we are seeing, and what is the non-compliance. So that would help. So while I was playing with your compliance test against ZOT itself, so it was actually becoming a little hard for me to figure out what URI was being sent and so on and so forth. But this is again, I haven't tried your debug mode yet. And the third comment was, so these are all positive tests. I think this is a first step. The distribution spec also deals with the error codes. So we probably want to add compliance on that side as well. That's it. These are my comments.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So today we spent the day, and I have Peter here too, who's working diligently on this. We spent the day trying to make sure we can get all of the output from the test. I sent Ram, specifically to you, I sent a link, which I'll also send to this Zoom right now. Actually, I'll just share my screen. But yeah, we were able to, by removing the dependency on reg, we were able to get all sorts of stuff. For example, on Quay, and this we do need to like hide some of this output for tokens reasons, but this is that example too.
That's pretty cute. It has all the tokens and the output.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I do have a Zot server running here, and if I run, okay. So Peter actually broke it. So yeah. So if we check the Quay one. Here we go. So we have all sorts of great output now. It's mostly just setting Rusty's debug on, but what was happening is the reg library was, for anything that was auth related, intercepting the requests, and that wasn't being logged. So now you can see every request, it's a get, returns a 401, returns the www authenticate header, and then we redo the request with authorization, basic username, password, and then it returns a token, which is something we really need to be hiding. But and then you can see it redoes the request with authorization bearer. So we've really tried hard to expose all of this today. And then in addition, what's in progress that Peter had broken master with was extending this to be in an HTML output. So imagine all of that, all of those tests outputs coming into report. And we want to make this so it's like collapsible, so you're not viewing all the green if it's good. But let me post a link to the GitHub Actions. Just make sure to go to the commit prior. But yeah, so the true. Oh, thanks. So yeah, so we're trying to make sure that the exact what's being debugged and what's being output is the actual headers, and we're also playing with Charles proxy to make sure that that truly is the case. The concern about the testing the error codes, that is just something we had not gotten to, and we were actually having problems, and maybe it's just Go modules and Go 113, but we were having a lot of problems importing distribution-spec specs Go. Has anyone had an issue with that?
I would venture to say that's new enough that nobody's even tried importing it. So honestly, I think there was a couple of that was fairly recent PRs just to make something like the data structures that are captured there, because the other option was cargo colting stuff from the Docker distribution repo, and there was back and forth around that. So if you're finding issues with it, then it's a PR. I don't think it's even being used by anybody at all.
Okay. Yeah, we can take a look at that too, but it would be great if we could just maybe even all of the error codes could have constants, and then, you know, Zot can import those, the tests can import those. I think the problem is that that folder doesn't have a go.mod file.
Should it?
I'm still, many months later, still trying to understand Go modules, but I think that that's why it cannot be imported. I'm not sure.
I'll double check because I didn't think it had any dependencies even in that folder. It's just like a package with nothing going on with
No,
it.
I know. I think you can have a go.mod that just has the name of the package. It doesn't actually need to have requirements.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, in terms of the error stuff, it was just something we had not gotten to. And yeah, anything else from the Cisco side?
No. So when do you plan to get this officially into the distribution spec tree?
Well, I guess that's part of what we're navigating here is that since the Zot team's already done good work on it, and I think some of what Josh is proposing to work on, you're proposing here is, since it was like modifications on what Zot did, but to show appreciation to that, like how much to go into the distribution spec repo for the conformance part, and making sure that we're not like departing from what y'all did and what y'all need, and that it's something that's generally applicable to everybody. So once we have kind of an agreement that it's still what satisfies, the direction is satisfactory for Zot, and code would move there, get copied there, and respecting any licenses or whatever, that
Hey Ram, what's the intention behind the question? Just, are you trying to figure out when you could maybe start contributing and or start using it in replacement of the conformance stuff you have in Zot?
No. So it is, when is it going to be publicly available to the open? That was my question. So
I think that's where Josh and Peter have been working on it, just to get it generally is a good first approach with the adaptations needed. And I'm pretty sure you could make a PR whenever. That's not it's not like keeping anything secret. It's just making sure there's a consensus before pushing it out there, or opening a PR for it.
Sorry, maybe once we can get the tokens and all the auth stuff hidden from the output, I can submit initial PR, and then like Ram, or if someone else wants to come in and add stuff once it's in master, then we can start really collaborating it. Because I'm actually worried about, not worried, but like with the PR, like who's getting the commit history on that if it's being done in a fork and stuff like that. But not a big issue. But yeah, I mean,
you're concerned about people getting attribution, like what?
Well, like I'm just saying, like if Ram were to submit a PR into the blood orange fork, and then I submit the PR, does it come into OCI as just my name, or?
No. I didn't know so the only history there would be if you've squashed or otherwise the history from the Zot repo. But once something's in a branch to the distribution spec, even if you've worked on it on the blood orange repo and then made a PR, it should have all the commits against the distribution spec. So even if it was on your blood orange and then it came over, you'd see all those in one tree. But if you copied code from the Zot repo, then depending on how you did that,
No, we didn't. We visually. I mean, there was a lot of inspiration there, but it was a visual copy. But I mean, would you be all right, or do you think it could make it into master in an incomplete state, like just as it is?
It's not ideal. That's unfortunately what happened to the current test repo that I just blanked on this name.
does it need to be in master in an incomplete state? I mean, if we have a PR, like we've got a number of things like this that are, waiting for completion.
Yeah, well, that's what that was, and we do have PRs, but the current test directory is a partial conformance test. It's not even a complete state, and part of this would be deleting that repo.
That was kind of an outstanding question I had. Should instead of having a compliance folder like we've done it just to keep it clean, but should I do a replace of the test directory with this, or should we keep that around?
You can keep it as /conformance, and then we'll have a PR to wax the test directory.
I guess Zot folks, are you looking to see a PR in the OCI the OCI org, or are you looking for it to be like a 1.0 release thing in master? Yeah, I mean, ultimately that's our goal, and that's why we're doing all these reviews.
I don't think we really care.
Yeah, I don't think we really care.
It's just a question of when can people just start pulling it and start using it to test against their own implementations.
That's good. They can pull against a PR. It's just a matter of we want the PR to be in a.
Yeah.
To Vincent's point, we want the PR to be complete before we merge. So by making it a PR, then people can pull against it, test it, and then as everybody gets confidence in it, then we can merge it.
Or if you want me to make it a branch, make it a branch. But honestly, even if it's not a 100% conformant, like every single must and must not, if it's testable and runnable with the rule, with the musts and must nots that you've implemented so far. It's like what it is that you've implemented, the checks that you've implemented are complete. Maybe it's not a full suite yet. Then open a PR and we could have that in. And then people could iterate on adding musts and must not rules themselves.
Yeah,
I agree with that, but if you're not comfortable with that, if the author isn't comfortable with that, then I'm fine either way. But I agree that it doesn't need to be complete to get merged. But
sure. Okay.
Maybe that's the way to say it. It's not complete that's merged, but it's agreed on what's there needs to be agreed before it's merged. And we continue to complete it over time.
The other thing I want to bring up before we drop, so we, especially Peter, spends a lot of time reading through the spec and trying to look at what Zot had done. It doesn't seem like any of the registries actually are compliant. Is that expected? Including Zot and distribution.
That I think that is a fair statement. At least from Zot point of view, you are right. We did find some non-compliance, so we are fixing those bugs. But that's a fair statement to make. So we are evaluating and going through the failures to see if the test is valid or if Zot is breaking. So we are making that evaluation.
Okay. Yeah. Please keep me posted on that. Because I know that was kind of like the primary goal of the project.
So are we saying that the tests are not accurate, or that you are?
No, what I'm trying to say is I'm almost positive the tests read from the spec verbatim, and the expectation was that I thought distribution would pass, but it doesn't. And then I thought Zot would, but there's a few things that are off.
Yes. So distribution we found is not compliant actually. So and I posted a bunch of notes on the Zot website itself on why exactly it's not compliant, but it is what it is. So.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be good.
Well, I think those are pretty great, and you should just document it. And then that's the kind of stuff of like, even in the PR of like, I'm fairly confident the test is testing what it should, and at this point, here's the thumbs, getting a signal of like, this is where these things are incompliant. Maybe these need to be fixes and PRs or bug trackers on those places. But for now, this is actually testing what we think we're agreeing on.
Okay.
I like it.
Awesome. Yeah, so we'll work to try and get a PR up this week, maybe before the call on Wednesday. And yeah, unless there's anything else, I don't want to take anyone else's time.
Nope. Thanks, and thanks for doing this.
No, it's very exciting. Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks,
We'll
folks.
keep you posted.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.